Now, when I say in terms of learning from the experiences, what I mean is specifically perhaps a country that was where we were or where we are right now and has moved, you know, been able to move through the use of its judiciary in terms of how are they able to achieve that success. Do you know of any African country?
Well, yes. For instance, today the Ghanaian judiciary is probing judges. I mean, we heard of that recently. We're part of that process. We are looking at that process very closely because our lawyers, our friends, our members, they are working there. You know, we need to take a systematic. There's no.
You think that judges should be probed in Nigeria?
Why not?
Why?
We need to take on the holistic. If you see, we are here talking about corruption. We are here talking about how to cleanse the judiciary. It's part of the recurring topic every day. We need to solve the problem.
Who would probe the judiciary?
Well, I think the country should be able to. The judicial process has a way. You see, part of the reason why, you know, we should deal with this issue headlong is because the judiciary is a very sensitive part of our country's progress. Businesses, economic businesses, can never thrive if you don't have a good legal system, no matter what this country will do. Because when investors are coming here, they have to be guaranteed. You know, when they bring in investment, they have to be guaranteed that legal disputes are resolved with justice and with efficacy. So if that's not there, so there's the need for us to come down. You know, the process of dealing with judiciary is there in the Constitution. You know, if you can probe the National Assembly, you can probe the executive, there's no reason why you shouldn't probe the judiciary. But what we are talking about is, at this stage, is we need to deal with issues of corruption, not when a judge is accused of taking the laws into his or her hands, he goes to hire 5 senior advocates.
Is our constitution enough for this fight?
Well, we have a very beautiful constitution, you know, but have we applied? You need to read our laws. You need to read the constitution. The NJC is doing it, but the present Chief Justice is one of the best judges we have in this country, the present CJN of Nigeria. He's doing so much to look at all these things. But what about the more he's doing, the more people are dragging. You know, these are the issues. Corruption is fighting back, but we need to take the bull by the horns. We need to be sincere. We need to, the press needs to speak up.
You know, we're asking about the Constitution and so many other acts like the INEC Act, and you also look at monies people spend to prosecute elections and some of this. And don't you think that we need an amendment? Because if you put some kind of tag that there's a kind of amount you should spend for a certain level of election, maybe for the National Assembly or state assemblies or governorship, it then means we're giving avenue open for corruption, because for some people, genuine Nigerians, they can't afford such amount of monies to go into politics.
Well, my take on that is very simple. There's no way you can regulate, you know, people, how they spend money, because money comes into Nigeria through different means. You know, so, but what I think
it's been regulated in other parts.
Yes, but you see,
to a larger extent, money is being maybe donated for election purposes in other parts.
That is what I'm trying to say.
It's been traced.
Yes.
So why can't we do same?
That's what I'm trying to say. In those climes you're talking about, you have strong institutions. In Nigeria, we don't have strong institutions. We are still talking about this man, INEC chairman. Look at the rubbish that PDP is talking about, for instance. I'm not a politician, but I feel ashamed. PDP is a Nigerian property. Because as a Nigerian, you are free to belong to the PDP. That's part of what they don't understand. And I feel disappointed, because I spoke out before the election that why the PDP was fighting INEC, for instance, during the elections. I tried to remind them that INEC is a federal government institution. So if the election fails, the federal government would have failed. And the PDP government would have failed woefully. But they don't realize that, because they are after themselves. And
I don't seem to get your point.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is that for this, on this issue of INEC, for instance, why will you be criticizing someone who was already in INEC anyway as a commissioner, now being appointed as the acting chairman of INEC? The president has exercised his right. Now, by always attacking things, you know, rather than...
And PDP as a party also has, you know, rights and privileges. They have rights and privileges to speak up on any matter, on any issue.
You know, but yes, you have a right and privilege to speak up honorably. Do you understand what I'm saying? If a president of this country has a right to appoint an acting chairman of INEC, he has not even gone out, for instance, to appoint a chairman from outside, even those who are there. The chairman has not even been confirmed because the process of confirmation still has to go through the National Assembly. It is premature for you to start, you see, one of the problems I have is not peculiar to the PDP. It's also peculiar to the APC and other parties. One of the problems that we have with these people is that most of the things they keep saying, they have never brought out one concrete evidence to say this is this, so that the public can know. We'll be talking about this one being this one being that, this one is the president's cause. Look, for God's sake, what we need in this country is strong institutions. We should come together and build strong institutions. When we have strong institutions, it is very easy to check things like, money politics, which is part of what is the problem in this country. Because when people have spent money desperately to win elections, they now start to rob the country in order to recoup.
Can you build institutions, worthy institutions, without a look at the laws? So I was asking that question about a look at the laws.
Well, you see, building of institutions are not issues of law, really. Building of institutions also have to do with the people. People break law in this country every day. There are laws. Is there no law against incest? Is there no law against rape? But these crimes are committed every day because we have weak institutions that deal with these things promptly. We have weak institutions that are not enlightening people. We have weak institutions that do not make people afraid of the consequences of the actions.
It goes back to corruption, because some have also argued. You just mentioned Justice Oyewole and a couple of others in times past. Some others say that if you follow the books through and you have the willpower to implement and execute some of these, then we won't be talking about even a weak institution. The individuals are responsible for making such institutions weak.
That is exactly what I'm saying. You know that we need to change our orientation. You understand? People are groaning. You see, the government, I was being interviewed yesterday and all the way from Nairobi, and they were talking about 100 days in office. If you read the papers, you see all kinds of stories. Can the 100-day child be able to do the kind of things they expect from the government? We need to be realistic. So we have a lot of rot all around the place. We now have to start, we have to be sincere. We now have to start. If, for instance, the last government know it didn't do well, as conscientious Nigerian citizens, as citizens ready for the progress of this country, they need to go back and do an inward thinking, an inward review of what took place and how the country can be better run, rather than running into criticizing the present government because we are in opposition. The work of opposition is not necessarily to criticize, it's to find solutions. We did this wrongly. Oh, this is what the president is repeating again. If we had known at that time we did this, this is what we should have been doing. So we expect this president to be doing this. Oh, is this, is that. We are still doing the same thing that brought us to this present state. And I'm ashamed that politicians can't learn their lessons.
But, I think that it is also very important that you clarify your position on democracy and what the end of democracy is, because you did speak very strongly on that. You said it's not an end in itself.
Yes, democracy is not an end in itself. The purpose of government is to enhance the welfare of the people and the happiness of the people. The institutions surrounding the people, everything is the government is about the people. So democracy is just a vehicle for achieving that purpose.